Hey, don't forget, it ain't the first 48 with 60 minutes.
Come with the kid, best not miss. Even the score now, we need to score now. Back on that wall, when you hear that call, you know it's going down. We play from beginning to ending, you know how we finish. Turn to the bank, gotta handle our business. We need the ball, so it's time to go get it. Play with your heart when you hit, make it feel it. You know I'm with. You come to the bank and get out of line, we sending a blitz. Say who you with? You know I'm with. That purple and black, and when we attack, you know what it is.
You're now locked in Zone 32.
Oh shit, here we go again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Zone 32 podcast. Episode 138. We have 5 of us. My name is Jake. His name is Drew. His name is Will. His name is Trippy. His name is BT. Say what's up to the people.
Shut the fuck up.
Fuck, you shut the fuck up, fucking asshole, cocksucking piece of shit. But whatever. Anyway, let's get into it. So, Harbowl Bowl Part 3. And just like the other two, Big Brother proved to be a better coach head-to-head versus Little Brother because the Ravens beat up on the Chargers 30-23. The score
Hold on. The score was 30-16-7. Vegas called in a favor at the end to make sure the over hit. So can we at least get that correct before we continue?
If that's what you want to say. All I was going to say was the score wasn't as close as the game wasn't as close as the score tried to indicate. But no, you're right, Drew, because
77% of the public money was on the under, and then all of a sudden, that last drive, they're feeding the Chargers penalties. So,
yep, 2 fan pass interference calls down the 1 yard line, so then Gus was able to score. But they kicked the onside kick. They were unsuccessful. I got to talk shit to non-existent Chargers fans because just like birds, the Chargers fans are not real. Those people you saw in the stands at SoFi Stadium, all paid actors, paid handsomely by the Spanos family because everyone hates Dean Spanos, and the last known Chargers fan was seen at Qualcomm Stadium in 2016. After that, vanished off the face of the earth because they do not exist. But anyway, Drew, we'll start with you. And actually, before that, I'm going to tee you up with your boy because old Mr. JK Dobbins started running the ball, and then, as always happened with him, his knee started to buckle on him, and he had to miss the rest of the game. So give me your thoughts. Give me your reaction on the guy who wanted to come to your house and give you biscuits and candy and shit.
Well, I mean, it was the perfect JK Dobbins, experience of he was good when he was healthy, and then he wasn't healthy, and the team didn't win. So, I mean, that's basically what you get with Jalen. Defensively, we were good. Malik Harrison, I had a lot of things to say about him in the first half. I would say he figured it out in the second half. Honestly, defense-wise, there wasn't a ton to complain about, which is weird. We had a couple guys running shouldn't have. We didn't hit Herbert as often as I wish we did. And when we started getting pressure in his face, he started kind of sucking. So, maybe start hitting quarterbacks more often and they'll play worse. I don't think that's really that crazy of a take. Offensively, shout out Harbaugh, that 4th and short with 2 minutes left on your own 16-yard line. I get it. Like, it's a short yardage situation. Like, you just did the tush push thing, but the balls to go for that is why we won that game and the continued aggression. So again, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I tweeted that, and you would have thought that I tweeted like John Harbaugh was like humanitarian of the year and the greatest head coach to ever exist with how fucking angry people got at me in the replies. But
it was especially ballsy because they let the clock run down to 2-minute warning, making it look like they were just trying to draw them off sides, and then came out, lined up, and ran.
Yeah, and again, there had not been a 4th down converted that deep in your own territory in, I want to say it was like 14 years.
2012, I think. 2012,
2012?
Rant, I think was the last one.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that was a fake punt. So
Right.
That was the first time somebody had lined up to go for it on 4th down there, and then to get it, and then to actually go score. Credit Rashad Bateman. He had that. I guess you could call it a drop on an earlier drive. It was, closely contested catch in the end zone.
I had the exact same reaction as you in real time. Yeah. And like you and I are number one Bateman haters, but people who were like, "Oh, Bateman dropped that," I don't think that's a drop at all. I think it was a good throw.
It was a ball that he should have caught, defended well.
Right.
So
exactly.
like maybe
the defense was perfect on it.
3-4 weeks ago, I might have been, motherfucking him up and down, but whatever had happened. But again, he just fucking stepped up and made up for it. And that, was interfered with on that drive and then kind of set up that touchdown pass. Was interfered with on the touchdown catch. That was the first time I'd seen him track a deep ball and adjust to it while it was in the air and actually come down with the catch. So, again, credit to him.
Big time credit to him.
Lamar looked good, had some questionable throws, had some questionable times where probably should have tucked it and ran and didn't, but, it is what it is. Got out of there with the win and, pretty good game from him overall. Derrick Henry's fucking phenomenal. Justice Hill's an asshole for ruining all our parlays, but whoever got called for the hold on the Derrick Henry touchdown that was called back and then turned into a Lamar Jackson touchdown run is a bigger asshole than Justice Hill.
I needed that anyway.
Illegal formation. They called it on Rosengard, but it was Charlie Kohler's fault.
Yeah, so,
it was all Kohler's fault, but Rosengard did take the heat, like Jake said.
Yeah, I can't complain about that because, again, I needed Lamar and Derrick Henry, so it didn't really matter for me.
Yeah, I needed Henry. Didn't get it, obviously.
I needed Henry and Zay.
And then get Makari out. I would say that's really my biggest gripe leaving that game is that he can't continue to play.
He still was fucking up?
Yeah, he got called for 2 penalties, I think.
He got called for a hold.
A hold and a false start, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I line guru Cole Jackson, I trust his judgment on this. Says pass protection wise, he's been very good, but you can't keep having penalties and start that guy. I would take average pass protection and no penalties over his plus pass protection with a lot of penalties. So I don't know. It was a solid game, top to bottom. Really not a ton to come up, which is always good to walk away from a Ravens game without having a ton of gripes. Still, our fans found a way to get fucking mad about what people say online, but it is what it is.
They always will. Yeah, so I'm going to get a little bit annoyed with things that fans have been saying afterwards. And I think it's just people kind of like, I don't really know. It's weird. Okay, people are going way over the top with the Malik Harrison praise. Like, he had a good game. He was put into that position.
Awful in coverage.
Yeah, really bad. So, like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, people who are like, okay, they watch that game and they're saying, oh, man, he deserves more snaps. No, he doesn't.
No.
What we just saw in that game is if he's on the field the whole time, that's a bad thing because a couple of issues, with balls being completed over the middle of the field was him not being deep enough or just not being, athletic enough in coverage or even just, in his position in the zone to prevent easy completion. So like
as the night went on, he did better with filling in the holes with the run game, but he was still bad at the pass.
Right. So it's just I wish people would be more. I just wish people would be more balanced about how they react to things. Like, okay, Roquan wasn't playing. Malik Harrison basically played his role, and he played it well enough. He's a backup, so just take the win that the backup had a decent enough game that it didn't hurt us that Roquan was out. But let's not get carried away like, oh, suddenly we have this diamond in the rough, Malik Harrison. He's been on the team. He's been the same guy for many years. He's been on the field a lot this year too, and people have complained about him all year. So, like, relax. He had a good game, but you cannot expect that every game. It's just like if Lamar got hurt and it was a 1-week injury and Josh Johnson came in and won a game, you're not going to start talking about Josh Johnson should get more fucking snaps. He just came in and did his job. He's a fucking backup player. So that's my one complaint coming out of it's really not coming out of the game. It's coming out of the reactions.
And when it came to that whole coverage ordeal, I feel like Christian Welsh did a little bit better at playing the coverage, but these are backups we're talking about.
So my credit to Malik Harrison and maybe even Zach Orr, I'm sure how much is him and how much is Malik Harrison, is that Harrison got abused the whole first half. And rather than, kind of letting it compound and getting down on himself, he came out in the second half and did what he does well and kind of focused on that or put him in a position to succeed in the second half. So,
yeah,
I'll take it.
And honestly, that's 2 weeks in a row. The defense has played well. It's been a solid defensive performance. So, like, maybe we've turned a corner and Zach Orr is starting to get his feet under him and really get a feel for this job. There was no question that he understands, the concept of the defense, and he's been part of that staff, but just executing it and being the guy who is making a call on a down-to-down basis. I think that was getting away from him, but it seems like he's kind of getting a feel for it. So
the thing that seemed to really help was having that mini bye after the Bengals game.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't hurt. Did Marcus play at all last night?
Apparently, he had one snap, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, so my gripe with that is, what's the point of having him active?
Yeah, he had one snap, taking some water out to the defense.
Yeah, like just make him a healthy at this point. Your defense.
I think if he's healthy, they keep him active because if Kyle Hamilton goes down, unfortunately, he's the guy that has to go in and play Kyle Hamilton's role.
Fair. Again, our defense is better without him. Is my takeaway.
For sure. If he finds himself on the field, then something's gone terribly wrong. But having him available, I think it just has to be done.
Let his ass play special.
I don't think that would go over well, but who knows? Who knows? And by the way, Lamar, there were a couple of throws that were off, and that carries over from last week. Last week he played, his throws were, I think, a lot more errant than they were this week, but he still completed 73% of his passes. So he was 16 and 22. So I think the balls that we remember that were not thrown very accurately, those are the only ones that weren't. And I guess that Bateman one that was perfect.
Yeah, but it's still some throw. I mean, I guess you did just say that though, but it's still like, I don't know, like they said it on the radio earlier, and I guess I've been saying it too. Like he been throwing the ball kind of too high lately.
Yeah, and you know what?
Seems
that
like
is
he
something
gets
that
a little rushed, and he kind of drops his elbow.
That's okay. So I was gonna say, like, that's kind of the story of Lamar over the years. This year, his mechanics have been way more consistent, but the past couple of weeks, we've seen him start to drop the elbow and come and lower that arm slot. And when he does that, because a lot of the time Lamar isn't throwing on solid platform, he's moving. So like dropping the arm slot, if he doesn't have to, the ball is going to go high. That's just, that's physics.
And he also
he's done
the ball
forever.
A lot. And Zay's a small guy to begin with, so it looks worse than it actually is.
And let me
the bye is going to help him. I think his elbow and arm, you give it solid week off, I think we'll get him back to where he needs to be. But
during that throw, I was thinking about the whole midget thing.
He bounces back though, like that. That's the difference between this year and every other year, really. Like when he's been off in previous years, it's kind of lingered. And like we said, he had a couple throws that didn't look right, but at the same time, he did complete 73% of his passes. So I think he's figuring it out as he goes.
Lamar is kind of a vibes, and like the vibes are down. He's gonna kind of continue with the vibes down. In the past, this year, it kind of seems like he, he's trying to change the narrative. He's trying to be the guy that's making the difference. So I'm cool with it. Nobody's gonna be perfect, completion percentage wise. There's always gonna be bad throws. So like, if we're limiting those and it's, like you said, he's completing 73% of his passes, like we can sit here and nitpick the, probably what do you have, like 4 real bad throws, maybe?
Right. Well, and then one of the incompletions was that ball that he threw that was perfect to Zay in the back of the end zone that was just well defended.
I actually think Bateman kind of fucked that play up and unintentionally, but that I think Bateman could have caught that ball in the front of the end zone. And I think Zay was not ready for it. I saw that play.
I saw it.
Yeah. But shit happens. It is what it is. Like, that was almost 2 guys being open, and I don't think the Ravens expected that. So,
but look, this something else that's been on my mind all day, right? What is up with? See, this is what I never understood about Raven fans, right? Like, I be feeling like they be preying on certain players' downfall. Not saying it like that, but I'm just saying we got Keaton Mitchell, right? He's less than like a year coming from the injury.
It's about a year.
It happened in December.
Right, and then you got fans bitching and shit talking about why we not using Keaton Mitchell. Like he just came back. Like, let him wrap himself up a little bit. Like, I mean, the goal is to get in the playoffs, right? And he was a key piece to our offense last year, but he got hurt. Now I'm looking at it like, remember I've been saying it all season, like, Justice Hill won't get a lot of looks on the offense. Now I'm looking at it like, imagine we bring Keaton Mitchell in the playoffs, like shit gonna be crazy. You feel me? So I don't know why.
Yeah, and Derrick Henry had 140 yards yesterday, Trippy, and Justice Hill had a 51-yard touchdown run. So like, why are we complaining about running back touches? Who cares?
I get the argument. Want to see Justice Hill or Keaton Mitchell brought along faster. I think that he adds kind of like a home run potential to this offense that before yesterday, I don't know if Justice Hill ever really showed that offensively. that he had that 50-yard touchdown run in him. And that's kind of what you expect out of Keaton Mitchell, is that Derrick Henry gets fuck out of a front seven, and then you bring in the speed with Keaton Mitchell, and he's going to take something to the house. I also don't, like, I'm with you guys, like, I don't particularly care. I don't want to complain about running back carry distribution because the run game's working, you know?
Right.
I do also get the give Keaton some touches and see where he's at, but I don't know if live game, it's a one-score game, is really the time to try that out. You know what I mean? Like, we still have football games. So I see both sides of the coin. Then of like, I feel like our fans are also lost in a bitch about. You know,
and Drew, you know, like you said, vibes are a big thing with Lamar. So the first quarter was a shitty, just all around. Defense got pushed around on that first drive. Offense was doing nothing. So after the first quarter, every time the Ravens possessed the ball, and I think maybe one of these possessions actually started in the first quarter, but it was completed in the second. But from the second quarter on, every time the Ravens had the ball, they scored until that last possession where they were up 2 scores and they punted it away. So they either had a field goal or a touchdown on 6 straight possessions.
Oh, and I think it was you, I think, said it in the group chat first, and I said it around the same time on the timeline. People forget that, like, Greg Roman's biggest strength was that his first 20 to 25 plays that were, clearly scripted before the week started was his strength while he was here.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that you almost had to know that the Chargers were going to come out offensively and look good. I mean, that's what Greg Roman does well.
I was furious that I didn't use my live boost on Chargers' first possession touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the kind of I don't want to, like, that's what Greg Roman is that he'll script you a great start to a game, and then the defense is going to adjust to whatever he's calling, and then he can't do shit to get out of his own.
Right. Yeah, Greg Roman, the quote about him, he's going to open up the vault. That motherfucker, his brain is like the phone book of football plays. He's got knowledge that just goes on and on and on. You just can't, and I think maybe that is the problem, that he has so many fucking plays up there that he can't figure out which one to call, and he just fucks it up when the live bullets are flying.
Well,
when he's got the script, he's ready. The script is ready. He doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, and then something in the script works, and he's like, well, this worked the first time, so I'm going to call it again. And then he's like, oh, well, it didn't work this time, but I'm going to call it again because there's no chance they stop it twice. And then at that point, he's a 3-and-out machine because he's calling the same 3 plays over and over again. And the defense is like, oh, he's calling the 3 plays over and over again, and then they stop it. And then it's, at that point, the game's out of hand.
Pittsburgh lived on that when he was the offensive coordinator. Pittsburgh identified those tendencies because he would try and do stupid shit like flip the formation but like easy stuff. But they
knew what was coming, and his offense never has this to like he makes it easy for the opposing defense.
Right.
Like, that 3 of his wide receivers are going to end up in a 15-yard window. And when the Ravens were at their best with Greg Roman was that they were just running the ball. Everybody in the fucking stadium knew that they were running the ball, and you couldn't stop it. And so it had nothing to do with the defense being surprised by what they were seeing. It was just that the run game was that good that, no matter what a defense threw at it, they couldn't fucking stop it.
Yeah. Greg Roman's big problem is he can't identify when something is working. He sees something that didn't work and thinks, oh, it'll work the next time. So, like, if something's working, just keep fucking doing it. Like, Todd Monken is good at this. Like, I was looking at the play-by-play breakdown in the fourth quarter. Now, going into the fourth quarter, we were still trying to build that lead up. But after we scored that last touchdown, maybe even before the last one, maybe it was after the third touchdown, I forget. But it was basically Derrick Henry, run right, Derrick Henry, run right, Derrick Henry, run left. It was just over and over and over again, pound the fucking ball at them. It's working. He's fucking 6 yards a carry.
Jesse Minter is going to run that too high safety. He's going to give you the run, and you just have to be disciplined enough to keep taking it. And a lot of teams, and why the Chargers were, what were they giving, like 14.3 points per game before last night?
That's exactly right.
They had a significant lead on the points per game thing defensively for over the whole league. But it's because a lot of teams aren't disciplined and that they see the same too high look, they see the light box and see the ability to run, and they get away from it. And the Ravens did not get away from it, and that's ultimately why they won.
To answer this question from Pigtown, I think that Monken will get calls and maybe even will take interviews, but I don't think he has any intention. if they don't win the Super Bowl, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think Todd Monken came here to win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. That, like he specifically said, he had options. Like he could have just stayed at Georgia.
You want to know why
two straight?
You want to know why Todd Monken won't get calls? It's the Grant effect. Is that people look at Todd
they
Monken
think he's 80 years old.
Yeah, they see this. They think he's this old man, and they would rather go with the Ben Johnsons of the world, who are these 35-year-old guys who are these offensive masterminds. And for some reason, that's what teams kind of gravitate. Is that they
which
want
is hilarious
this,
because which team has scored the most points in the league?
Right, but because Todd Monken is viewed as old by the league, he's not going to get as many calls as he should, which I'm happy with. Fucking
me too.
I'm gonna agree with that.
I don't think that Monken is one. So the fact that he is 58, I think it is shocking every time 58. I feel like now I'm not on Grant's level here, but 58 seems way young when you look at Todd Monken. But anyway, I don't know that he's at the point in his career where he's like, this is a stepping stone job, whatever. Like I said, like when he got hired, he could have stayed at Georgia. I'm sure he had other calls. He could have probably got any open offensive coordinator job in the league if he wanted it, but he wanted specifically to come here and coach Lamar Jackson.
Right, and I can't see him.
And here's a good follow-up comment from Pigtown: is only 7 coaches all time have won a Super Bowl after age 60.
And it's Belichick. It's what the fuck is the
Reed,
guy? Buccaneers.
Arians.
Yeah, Bruce Arians.
Probably Parcells.
Parcells was another
maybe
good
Vince
one.
Lombardi. No, he looked like
Lombardi.
he was fucking 100 years old in every clip I've ever seen of him. Maybe Joe Gibbs.
Maybe.
Actually, fine. That's a good
Gibbs,
question.
was Gibbs that old with the Redskins?
No, I guess not. Joe Gibbs always looked like an old man to me.
I'm gonna look it up.
His last stint with the Redskins, but
I'm saying
not the early
he actually
90s.
won.
No.
I don't think he was that old.
He's probably in his early 50s at that point.
Was Shanahan that old with Broncos?
no,
I doubt it.
no, he definitely wasn't. He was that old when he went to the Washington Redskins.
Joe Gibbs was 50 years old when they won the Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah. So
The last time they won it, so like 91.
91, yeah.
Okay.
What was it? Doug
Pete
Williams?
Carroll, Arians, Bill.
No, that was
91.
Tom Coughlin.
Oh, Tom.
That's right. Tom Coughlin was geriatric
with the
G-Man.
Giants.
Yeah, fucking Crypt Keeper. I forgot about him.
Yep,
Oh, Pete Carroll. Okay, good call, Pigtown.
that's right.
Jake literally just said that.
Pete Carroll is the youngest old man ever.
He is.
Yeah,
Pete Carroll doesn't think that jet fuel can melt steel beams. So,
that's fucking right. He does it because it can't.
Well, that's a young
Right.
man's game, right?
yeah.
It's fucking right. It can't.
Pete Carroll's a big
Pete Carroll speaking the truth.
Pete Carroll and make quite the stand-up.
They would.
Sure.
You think there's any coincidence
They
that
would
that
get in a
guy
fist
stormed the
fight every day.
stage during the Seahawks press conference after they won Super Bowl 48? That was obviously planned by Pete Carroll.
The beat reporters.
9/11 was an inside job.
They would walk
That
in
shit.
the locker room and it's Pete Carroll and Sean McDermott fist fighting because Sean McDermott's mad that Pete Carroll says that the U.S. government's taking credit for 9/11 when it obviously was a well-orchestrated terrorist plot.
See, I think that they would. I think they would meet in the middle, and I think Sean McDermott would be like, "Oh wow, this is a plot. Great coordination pulled off by the U.S. government."
Oh, it's even better than I thought.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh wow, I thought I'll
Yeah,
the U.S.
yeah.
government."
Sean
our government was
Sean-
really organized.
Sean McDermott's direct quote would be, "Man, 9/11 was even better than I thought it was."
Yeah, George, that George
great.
runs a well-oiled machine.
That damn Dick Cheney and Halliburton and Silverstein.
I can't believe they pulled off the destruction of Building 7 like that. That was
That's right.
We're gonna get demonetized on YouTube for that. I don't even know if we can be monetized, but we're
listen, we only get two views, and they're both Pigtown Sports logging in and out.
Maybe
that's right.
Maybe some breaks here, but the Onion is in talks to buy Zone 32. We're gonna line up after Alex Jones and InfoWars.
Yeah,
now.
actually, Alex Jones is going to be the 8th chair on this podcast.
Yeah,
Nice.
Alex Jones. That fuck you.
Oh shit! Hey,
we traded Jake to InfoWars.
I'll give my job to Alex Jones. Alex Jones would make this podcast even funnier than with my wild ass.
I would. We need to make that work. Give Jake InfoWars, and it would just turn into like Jake going on random tangents about shit that nobody knows about. And then Alex Jones can host a football show.
Exactly.
That'd be pretty good.
And then he's talking about how interdimensional space aliens will influence the Ravens game that particular week.
He would just tell us that, the opposing head coach that we're playing every week was at Bohemian Grove and, whatever the fuck else. I didn't see any, there was no pro Sandy Hooks from this team, so they're going to lose. Yeah.
He would say that Chargers fans are crisis actors.
Yeah. Instead of it's not real.
Hey, man.
That's Jake's thing.
That's to be fair, I said they're paid actors, so we're not that far off from each other. So, hey, there you go.
Nah, he would be like, Paddock is actually Eagles coach and didn't actually do anything at Mandalay Bay. Would be his, his whole angle.
He would say Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs are only winning Super Bowls because they're having an overabundance of adrenochrome and eating children. That's what he would say.
Yeah, the cabal going on. Yeah, it would be a fucking wild show. We need to get
Alex Jones. Funny as hell.
We need to get Alex Jones on 32 and just get
his
unfiltered thoughts on the NFL.
Yes.
Imagine he has like hot take, great analytics, like he's like the next John Gruden. Like we could get clips out of him and he'd go like viral on TikTok talking about football.
Hey, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, I can see it. He's from Texas, that's they love high school there, but maybe Alex Jones got some hot football. We did try to get that Coach Brown guy on the podcast. Him and Alex Jones probably have similar views on like minorities and stuff like that. So, we are flirting with that side of crazy people on the internet already.
Alex Jones and him have both told someone at some point in their lives that they are their personal Hitler.
Credit to Alex Jones, he has a real lot of fake law firm that writes cease and desist for him. So, yeah. That Jason Brown guy, now that changed the whole, you can see tweets from people that blocked you. Shit. He pops up on my timeline every once in a while. I'm like, wow, this guy is fucking retarded. Like, he is one of the true stupidest fucking people that I've ever, witnessed in my entire life. Probably should have known that when I called him, just started yelling homophobic slurs at me, like, top of his lungs, and then told me to enjoy the, like, just the F slur probably 30 times at me, and then was like, just go enjoy the win, loser. And then I'm like, all right, buddy. And then
You're talking about my favorite Korn song?
Yeah, and then Will left
one
of the most disturbing voicemails I've ever heard in my entire life. That was PSF was a fucking wild ride. I think he has a show on PSF.
He's buddies with Sean Salisbury.
Yeah, that's why that.
I have no recollection of that voicemail whatsoever. That was one of those games.
I got certain text messages during that saying, "Are you just going to let Will continue with this?" I was like, "Yeah, I need to see where this goes." It was terrifying. I was going to ask Tripp's thoughts on the game, but I think we may have some of the game due to getting up at 1:00 in the morning.
Hey, he provided the necessary service. One of the wildest
things ever.
He provided a necessary service of getting everyone riled up for the game so then he could rest later, but he was trying to uplift everybody else to get ready for the game. That's all. He was doing God's
He really did.
There's nothing like opening up the group chat. I've been up for like an hour. I'm like a whole pot of coffee in, and I open up to a Trippy voice memo. I was like, oh, God. It's like, what's going on here?
How long have you been up?
Trippy dropped a 51-second voice memo in the group chat at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, it was like, why aren't any of you pussies awake and amped up for the game like me? Yeah. And I'm like, oh boy.
Why aren't you in bed?
It's like, hey, pal.
Hey, man.
Let's try that.
Hey, the real question, if he's up at 3 a.m., did he have a hamburger with him? If he did, then he completed the full circle of SpongeBob.
Oh, boy, 3 a.m.
That's exactly right. Yep, that was trippy when he said that voice memo.
Every once in a while, Drake makes references that I'm the only one that understands, and then I'm like, I should reevaluate my life that I'm the only one who understands this.
Yeah, hey, man, you probably should. You probably should.
Obscure SpongeBob references and shit. I'm like, oh God.
Unfortunately, I understand them too.
Yeah,
dude,
well,
first three seasons of that show were funny. After that, was not for me. It was not
proven that you can lose IQ points from that show.
Didn't the guy die? Didn't the guy die who didn't?
Yeah, Stephen Hillenburg. He passed away.
Yeah, so
I think that was 2018, something like that.
Jake, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know.
No, he died in 2018. I know this, so I went to a Super Bowl party in 2019. It was at a nerd house with a bunch of nerds around. For some reason, I don't know why, they all thought somehow, some way they're gonna play that little SpongeBob Sweet Victory thing for the halftime performance. So when they saw the fish with the trumpets, every nerd in that house got really, really hyped. And then it went to sicko mode and everyone was deflated. And I was laughing hysterically because they all got really happy and then demoralized after.
Anybody else? Is anybody else moderately disappointed? I thought Jake was going to say he was at a Super Bowl party with the creator of SpongeBob, and then that wasn't the story.
Just a little bit.
He was dead.
Kind of a little bit of a letdown.
He was dead by that point. They thought that he was there. For some reason, they thought the NFL was going to honor Steven Hillenberg. It doesn't make sense to me. Like,
is he?
What do you do?
Dead or hanging out with? And they're all alive. And Tupac.
Yeah. Hey man, all I can tell you is I saw Tupac on the corner of 42nd Street selling Biggie T-shirts, 2 for $10. Tupac lives.
He's in
He lives
Cuba.
in Florida.
No, Cuba.
42nd Street. That's where he is.
No, he's in fucking Cuba. That's what the internet tells me. He's been in Cuba for many years. We're getting off track here because we don't want to talk about the Eagles. I guess
we have for like the last 10 minutes.
I mean, we can.
It's weird. I mean, like
fake ass birds.
Last week, I wanted to fucking scream and yell about Roquan Smith, and he's still a pussy. Red light Roquan with his little pregame antics of like, "Oh, guys, I'm a real good shot." Fuck you, go away.
Well, here's the thing. Where you fucked up was listening to Dr. Tom make any kind of proclamation. Oh, yeah, he looks good enough to play. He's going to play. Because when we all know, Dr. Tom is the least accurate physician on the internet.
Besides an analyst, personal doctor who talks about like PCL injuries and shit. But
that's right. Talking about it's always tough to figure out a knee.
It was more the fact that I saw him going on. So I think it was Schefter, like well before the game, said that he wasn't likely to play, and I'm like, all right, like whatever. I didn't expect him to play. And then Jeff Zreback tweeted, he's like, "Oh, he's on the field giving it a good shot." I'm like, this fucking asshole is doing it for the cameras.
Pretty much.
I mean, that is what Roquan has turned into for me now, is that he is a media hype man. He's not a on field. I thought our defense, you know what I mean, without him, I thought that they were
same.
They were hitting guys late. They were hitting guys hard.
Swarming.
They swarming the ball. There's a lot of attempts at punching the ball out. None of them landed. But again, like that's what we want out of the Ravens, is that they looked like they had some fucking pride.
And those phantom DPIs on that last possession was just the secondary was playing good. Like they were getting rough, but like they should. So they're being physical and doing what they should do. And the refs, had to hit their parlays.
Yeah, they called that first DPI, and I'm like, fuck are we doing here? And then I went and looked, and I was like, oh, over is 50.5 or 51.5 or whatever the fuck it was. And I'm like, oh, they're 100% like giving the Chargers a touchdown. Why couldn't it have been us? Why couldn't?
Right, it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game at all. Exactly right.
No, but see, like the Tim Donaghy thing in the NBA a bunch of years ago has opened my eyes. If there is an opportunity for the referees to fuck with the amount of points scored in a game and not affect the outcome, they are 100% going to. And then I looked, and he tweeted me, it was like 77% of the money was on the under last night. And I'm like, okay, so Vegas made the fucking call in their headset. Hey, we got all these gambling sponsorships with the NFL. Like, let's make sure the over hit, guys.
I felt vindicated that I knew when I saw that number, that 50.5. I want no part of this. I'm not even gonna do an alternate total. I just want no part of the total. It's a moving target. You really don't know what's gonna happen.
Anything over 45, I'm either way. I mean, most games, are in that 48 point range, but I'm like, I don't ever want to be, so like, it was the Monday night game. I had I missed it by a point, but it was like, I had like 45.5, and I'm like, gay. Like, what am I supposed to do here? And,
right.
Yeah. I just never want to touch those points at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And then like in this case, when it's 50.5, in order to get a number you're comfortable with, it's not even worth it at them.
Yeah, no, because then it's like you get it down to like 41.5 or 40.5, whatever you want to do. And it's like, minus 280, minus 300 at that point. I'm like, yeah.
No, that would probably be in the 400s if you go that low.
Yeah. If you're taking 9 points off the spread.
It's not worth it. Yeah. It was just one of those numbers. It was like, nope, I got no interest in this at all.
Yeah, like, I mean, in theory.
Everybody, there was a couple people, a couple Zone 32 parlays that had the over 50.5. So good for them. Yeah. But parlay didn't hit anyway. So who gives a fuck?
I will never touch thing that high unless I'm like super confident that it's gonna hit. But
yeah, I think if I ever give out a Zone 30, if my parlay ever has the total in it, it might be me sending a signal I've been like kidnapped or something. I'm never gonna give out a total in a Zone 32 parlay.
Yeah, I'm more about than the overall total.
I wouldn't even do that. When I'm doing parlays,
so
it's gonna be.
Last night it was 6.5 was the Ravens team total, but it was like minus 118 around kickoff. And I'm like, like the Chargers defense is really good this year. maybe this is a game where the Ravens only score 24 points. Like, do I really want to be sweating out a fucking 26-point total?
And coming
here?
off
Like,
a 16-point game.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not feeling that. And for the most part, it's more if I look at it Thursday for a Sunday game, and it's some wildly low number. It's like 21. I'm like, yeah, okay, fucking, I'm gonna hammer it. And it's minus 110. I'm gonna fucking hammer that. But when it's 27, 28, and it's not great odds.
Yeah. So if anybody sees a Zone 32 parlay go out with the total on it, even an alternate total, call the FBI. I'm probably being held some sort of horrible situation.
Yeah, if you ever see me throw like Ravens money line or anything with like the Ravens spread, it's because Will put in this dumb mandate this year that we have to do 5 legs in our parlay. So I'm like, look for shit to add that's got decent odds.
Who wants in? I mean, we're trying to have fun.
No, we're trying to make money here.
Well,
I'm trying to put someone's kid through college. That's all. That's why you see me with 7 and 8 like parlays.
Jake was close this week. Well, so Drew, so far this year, I've hit mine, you've hit yours, and Big Dog Son has hit his. And that's it.
Me and Big Dog Son both hit losses. I don't know if they really count.
Yeah, I hit on a win.
Oh, you want a fucking cookie?
Well,
I really hope Big Dog Son keeps hitting more.
Big Dog Son, here's what I'll say about Big Dog Son's parlays, man. His are the best ones we give out.
Oh, he's off. When every week, if it doesn't hit, it's 1 leg off.
Yeah, he gives out very smart, sharp bets, and contrary to what anybody may think, he makes those picks.
It's moderately concerning
by himself.
That a child of his, this good at gambling.
He is dialed in.
Crazy.
You kind of have to wonder what's going on in the public system that he's attending.
He doesn't go to public school.
He goes to a private school, don't he?
He goes to private school where we teach
well, BT
proper parlay building
BT,
skills.
If he doesn't go to public school, then he would go to private school. That is a astute observation on your part.
No, he's homeschooled.
He'll be homeschooled, man.
Yeah, I was about to say there's homeschooling
You've spoken to his father. I would think that you'd know he's not homeschooled. No offense to the fanatic, but yeah, he's not homeschooling anybody. If there was a high school or at Disney World, I feel like Big Dog Son would definitely be forced to attend that. So that Big Dog
would want to. He's been indoctrinated. He's very much on into the life.
So he's at that. It's like it was cool, and now I feel like he almost is like, all right, I'm going to pretend to like Disney so that my dad.
No, he loves it. He fucking loves it.
He's paid.
He's going to be a Disney adult.
I mean, he just got back from his second Disney trip in 2 years. So
it's not real love. Setting him up to hate by forcing it down his throat.
His parlays are legit. I'm enjoying.
He gives out really good parlays. So, I do bet everyone's parlay every week, but I put much less money on your fucking weirdo parlays.
Yeah,
Indiana,
you have
California.
to. You have to put less money on that because it's a bigger return.
Well, and like Trippy, I bet Trippy's too, but Trippy sends me like 15 bets per week, and I just blindly tail every single one. So like it doesn't really count with Trippy.
One time Trippy sent me like a 19-leg parlay, and I tailed it, and it missed by a leg, and I'm like, fuck. I was like, I could have just cut off one of these like meaningless legs that I don't even care about here, and I would have hit. But
so there have been a couple times he sends me one, and I'll actually look at it, and then I'm like, I don't know about this one. And I'll take it off, and it has hit. So, but generally, I just bet it. I just if I click it, and I'm not too late, because he does send them at the last minute sometimes. But if I click it and it actually goes into the slip, I'm just gonna throw something at it and go and trust Trippy.
I feel more comfortable betting Ricard anytime touchdown than most of Jake's parlays. Usually,
right. Jake's are insane, and like
Jake's is trying to get someone's kids through college. That's all. I hit on one and I'm retiring.
And I want to be fair also. Jake gave out the parlay he actually sent and the one that got placed and also promoted are not the same because I couldn't even get a line on the Deontay Johnson leg.
Oh, that motherfucker, by the way. Can you fucking try standing on your feet, Deontay Johnson? So he fucking falls last night, and I'm like, this is the second time this has happened that I remember, where I'm like, where's the fucking flag? The guy ate, like, clearly he got tripped by the fucking defensive back. Then I watched the replay back, and he just fucking falls for no reason. Wide the fuck open. He catches that ball. He could probably take it, 10, 15 yards after the catch at that point. There was a lot of green grass in front of him. and he just fucking falls flat on his face. Like, the fuck are you doing, man?
I'm really excited to see him get the ball in some space and see what happens. But every time it looks like that might happen, he falls down.
Yeah, he's addicted to fucking falling. Like, what are you doing, man? And then you want to fucking fire up your goddamn burner account, do all this dumb shit. Like, how'd you fucking practice not falling?
Okay, well, but and this is kind of revisiting a couple of things we've covered here, but the people who, at the end of the game, are pulling receipts on Deontay Johnson. It's been 3 games since he got here.
Fucking sucks. The guy fucking sucks balls.
Yeah, but okay. But a wide receiver 3 games in, generally speaking, like, okay, DeAndre Hopkins is an exception. I wouldn't even say like Devontae Adams has had much of an impact in New York. Like, he's had a couple games where he's had like
fucking train wreck.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, Devontae Adams is an excellent wide receiver, and I think his biggest game he's had is like 4 catches for 59 yards. Like, nothing.
I would not be shocked if it comes out that Aaron Rodgers has been taking ayahuasca before game, with how bad that they fucking look.
Yeah, they look really bad. But my point really is just like, when you trade for a wide receiver, it does take time, not only for that wide receiver to learn what the fuck they're doing, but also for the wide receiver and the quarterback to get on the same page. And I feel like Lamar is trying to make that happen with him.
I fully disagree because every game, Deontay Johnson has had 1 or 2 decent looks at getting a catch and fucking doing something with it. And either he gives up on the route, he fucking falls. Lamar doesn't perfectly put the ball in his fucking chest, so he doesn't make the play. Like, it's annoying. Like, I understand why the fucking Steelers didn't want him anymore. And I understand why the Panthers gave him to us for fucking nothing. Because that guy is a fucking stay on your damn feet and catch the ball. Okay.
No, I agree with that. All I'm saying is, when he's on the field, he's not on the field very much. And when he is, Lamar is looking to get him the ball. So, like,
that's what bothers me, is that usually when a new wide receiver comes over and they're not putting up great numbers to start, it's because they're not really getting, looks in the offense. They're kind of getting brought in slowly. The problem with Deontay Johnson is that he doesn't catch the fucking ball. Like,
no, listen. It's not that he doesn't catch the ball. It's that he falls down before he has a chance to catch the ball. But right. I just like, it excites me that Lamar is looking specifically for him to try and give him the ball.
How long until he stops looking at him?
Well, but I'm just I agree with you. But whatever Lamar is seeing in practice, we don't see, and Lamar wants that ball in Deontay Johnson's hands. So at some point they are going to connect, and we're going to see something happen. That I'm looking forward to. Now, hopefully he doesn't, burn the bridge before we get there.
I feel like he's going to get fucking wide open down the sideline. And he's actually going to make a catch. He's going to be walking in for a touchdown. He's going to fucking fall flat on his.
I'd like to make a quick note that it's a curse of the wide receiver number 18.
This is true. That is true. Wide receiver 18s have not been good for us. Macklin, Perriman.
I was going to say, is Macklin 18?
I think, yeah. Number
Perriman
18
was 18. What number was John Brown here? It's 12, right?
Yeah, he was 12. No, he was 13. 13.
Marlon Brown, was he 18?
No, Marlon Brown was 14. But yeah, the number 18 usually does not bode well with the Baltimore Ravens, except for Roquan Smith. But then again,
yeah, when Roquan was number 18, he wasn't such a fucking pussy. Now he's number 0, and he contributes nothing to the fucking field. Fitting.
Drew's gonna have some tweet about Roquan wearing number 0 as soon as we get off this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, you remember I said James Prochet is going to change the number to 0 because that's what he fucking contributes, and that's what ultimately got us into a fight with James Prochet's uncle. Now our pal.
Now our dear friend, yeah.
Now our dear friend, but that led to him calling me a pedophile for some strange reason. I don't know what escalated it to that. I'm sure it was my fault, but yeah, just fucking Roquan, play. Stop being a bitch. Stop being a red light Roquan, asshole.
But Deontay
Johnson, we need to talk about Philly.
We do need to talk about the Eagles. So
the fake ass birds,
scumbags.
The fake ass birds are indeed coming to Baltimore off of a 7-game win streak. They haven't lost a game actually since after their bye week, so they're doing their thing. I believe they really haven't, but they have the fifth fewest points given up in the league. They're running the ball well with Saquon. Saquon's been a monster this year for them. Kudos to the Giants for being stupid because they've been a shit show for years now. Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean playing and everything. I know they lost Brandon Graham for the year, torn tricep, which he's old, but he was playing for him. So anyway, BT, I want to get your thoughts going into this game. and what you're looking to see from the Ravens versus the fake ass Birds and Kevin Hart.
Well, the thing about it though is it's going to be the headline is going to be Derrick Henry versus Saquon. So 2 really good run games and versus a white DB.
Racism.
But it is what it is.
They have 2.
They have Blankenship and Cooper DeJean.
Yep.
It was really funny when they wore that exciting Whites t-shirt. I cannot wait to watch Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean get fucking toasted all game.
Exactly.
I hate the fucking Eagles because I hate Eagles fans. I find Philadelphia people in general to be some of the dumbest human beings in the United States of America. Like, I interact with people and then I'm like, this is why the rest of the world fucking hates us, because these are just low level or low life scumbags that say and do the dumbest shit. I'm sick of the Jalen Hurts stuff. He's not good. Fuck off with him. Saquon Barkley, I cannot wait to bottle him up because everybody's with this whole, oh, he deserves it. You act like the fucking Giants were holding the guy hostage for all these years. Like, they did pay him to play football, okay? Like, it wasn't like some, horrific situation where he was being forced out on the field at gunpoint. The Giants fucking sucked. They had no offensive line. He did what he could, okay? Now he's on the Eagles. They have a better run offense.
And by the way, he was really good. He was really good when he was on the Giants, too.
Yeah,
exactly. He played out of spite like Lamar did under Greg Roman's offense.
Now he's really good for the Eagles, and I can't fucking wait to watch Travis Jones, Tavius Robinson, Brett Urban, I don't know, fucking Trent Simpson. Somebody just fucking kill him in the gap. Like, I don't want to see succeed because I'm tired of this. Oh, Derrick Henry's having a great year, but, Saquon Barkley deserves Offensive Player of the Year. He really deserves the shit. Shut the fuck up. No, he doesn't deserve anything. Like, why do you feel bad for? I don't get it. It bothers me. People are fucking stupid.
Now, Drew, it is a good time to point out, though, that a lot of people owe you and me apologies because 2 years ago we said the Ravens should trade for Saquon Barkley, and people said we were retarded for wanting to spend any sort of trade asset on a running back.
I'm going to be totally honest. Like 93% of the internet owes me an apology for some reason or another. I'm tired of chasing them down. I'm always right. It's my curse. It's my cross to bear.
You and I were fighting everyone about this. Everyone.
And our argument pretty fucking sound. It was that Saquon Barkley's good at football, and we want people who are good at football on the Ravens. People are like, oh, that's stupid. Like, fuck you. Shut up.
No, I remember
they start doing like fucking ROI cost benefit analysis bullshit. Like, okay, if you win, it doesn't fucking matter. If you win, it doesn't matter. That's the whole point, to win.
Here's a general rule of thumb. If you see something that I tweet and you want to disagree with it, don't. Because either I'm right or I'm just going to tell you that I'm right until you agree with me. So it's just not worth your time, okay? Like 99% of the time I turn out to be right at some point. I was a little early on thinking Sauce Gardner sucked. He does suck now. So I was right about it. Whether or not people want to admit it, that's fine. Everybody dick rode Mike Evans for fucking years.
2-time All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler, top 10 this season.
And now he fucking sucks balls. So, what have you done for me?
He sucks balls.
He was the leading receiver on the team this past week. If I remember right.
No.
I think Bucky Irving might have been second.
Hold on. You're now mixing Sauce Gardner and Mike Evans here. I'm saying Sauce Gardner was a 2-time All-Pro. Now he sucks. So I was right. Everybody dick rode Mike Evans for this 1,000-yard receiving streak. Yeah, Brandon Steve, ended that. So
that's not necessarily true.
I'm not so sure yet. I'm not so sure.
It ended it. It's over. It's over. Dream's dead. Baker Mayfield's getting arrested before games. They won't give fucking Bucky Irving the ball at the 1-yard line when Drew has a lot of money on Bucky Irving first touchdown. That team's fucking cooked. Fuck the Bucs.
So then technically Drew was wrong.
Mike Evans has 403 yards and 6 touchdowns this year so far. And
he's going to have 600 yards in the rest of the year? Yeah, no, shut up.
That's out of the question? Why is that out of the question?
It's not going
to happen. Not crazy. It wouldn't be crazy if he just barely ekes like 1,002 yards.
Why do you think he came back so quickly? He wants that 1,000 yard. He wants to keep that going.
Yeah, so the hamstring's going to act up again, and tough shit, Mike. Your one claim to fame for your career is over with. Congratulations, you fucking ruined the rest of your career by chasing
Blake Snell going back to the Dodgers.
Blake Snell was never on the Dodgers, so that's not happening.
Oh, hold on. Oh, sorry. Blake Snell was on the Padres. Blake Snell was on the Dodgers. signed a 5-year.
Blake Snell was not on the Padres either. Blake Snell was on the Giants.
Oh, the Giants. Whatever. He was in California.
He
he was in the NL West.
Yeah, but he was on the other black and orange.
Drew, remember when you said that Noah Syndergaard would be a $200 million pitcher?
Yes.
Blake Snell just signed a 5-year, $182 million contract.
And just to be clear on that, Noah Syndergaard could still get $200 million in his career.
No, you said he was going to get it on his next extension.
No, I just going to be a $200 million pitcher. I did not specify when. I also thought that he's going to like reclaim his career and whatever. He was too busy making out with Alex Cooper on Kid. I severely underestimated his
no,
baseball.
Not making out. She was doing fish hooks in his mouth.
Yeah, I didn't realize that she had this effect on men that she could ruin their careers. That was my mistake. I didn't realize she sold it.
She ruined a presidential campaign.
Yeah, everything she touches turns to shit, which I did not. She was not a no point, so I was not aware of her, ability to fucking ruin things.
Yeah, she was just like a BU soccer chick who influenced.
Yeah, she was some blonde, fucking influencer at that point, and realized she, had sold her soul to Satan and just ruined everything she touched. Max Fried's going.
That's one of the few. That's one of the few. Just there's no debate. Drew was wrong about that.
Is Noah Syndergaard retired? Yes or no?
Kinda. He didn't play last
year. Yeah, he was, gearing up for that $200 million contract.
Yeah, that typically happens. A guy just doesn't play for a whole year, and then he comes back and gets a bigger contract than Blake Snell, like one of the best players in the market.
He's also Blake Snell is a Twitch, so some red flags there. So that's probably why he didn't eclipse $200 million. But yeah. Anyway, back to the Eagles. Fuck AJ Brown. Fuck Devontae Smith. Fuck Lane Johnson. I think he's still on that team. Fuck Quinyon
Yes, he
Mitchell.
is.
You're naming all the players we really wish we had on our team.
Fuck Cooper DeJean. Fuck Reed Blankenship. Fuck that fat fuck from Georgia who ran a really fast 40 time and doesn't do shit. Fuck
Jordan Davis.
Yeah,
he's not even starting for him, right?
Yeah.
What happened with that?
Fuck Jalen.
They were talking about taking him instead of Kyle Hamilton. Remember that?
Yeah. I'm glad
he went one pick after, or one pick before.
He went one pick before. He went one pick before Kyle Hamilton because Howie Roseman's a fucking retard.
Which is lovely.
That's what I call him. Fuck Jalen Carter. I think he killed somebody in a drunk driving accident or something like that. So he's probably a future chief. But
he's good though. He's very good.
Yeah, no, he's a bitch.
Yes, he is.
Fucking murderer. Go fuck himself.
He's two things can be true at once. He's a murderer and he's also good at football.
The only important sports thing to come out of fucking Philadelphia was a fake movie with Sylvester Stallone. Rocky is the most beloved athlete in Philly history. Joel Embiid's a bitch. Flyers are shit anyway.
What about that one with Mark Wahlberg?
Vince Papale.
What, Invincible with Vince Papale?
Invincible.
Yeah.
The Trash Man.
Yeah, not real. That was totally that was a worse movie than Rudy, which is hard to
Disney
accomplish.
shit.
But yeah,
Yep.
That was a Big Dog Dad production.
Yeah, not just fuck all of Philadelphia. Fuck Howie Roseman. Fuck Nick Sirianni. Fuck Carson Wentz. He's part of that team still in my head. Fuck Saquon. Fuck Hurts. I want to fucking bury them, and I just want to watch Philly scumbags cry on Twitter afterwards. Philly's not allowed to have nice things.
It really bugs me when people talk about Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson as some sort of comparison in the same sentence.
It's night and day.
I had some fucking moron.
And this is Jalen Hurts has played better than we ever thought he would. I think, right, Drew? I mean, I didn't think he would play as well as he has.
Has he really played? Okay, so here's my question, and I'm gonna get called a hater for this. Whatever, I don't really fucking care. If you put a lot of quarterbacks in a situation, I feel like they would put up comparable numbers to Jalen Hurts. And the one thing that when you look at his stat line that he has that other people don't have are rushing touchdowns. When people realize 80% of his rushing touchdowns are because three guys get behind him and finger his butthole and throw him over the line of scrimmage, it's really not impressive. But that's what we do.
But I'm just gonna give him credit for everything he's put into the box score. I'm just gonna say he has, to this point, he has done so much better in the NFL than I ever thought he would. But with that being said,
look at what he did in college. It's the same thing. You put him on Bama, and he was fine statistically at Bama. He was never good enough to really push him over the edge. But you put all pros all around him.
You got benched in a national championship game.
Right, because he was not good enough to win, is my point. He's never going to win a ring in Philly because he's not good enough to put him over the edge. because when push comes to shove, when shit gets hot, when it gets hard to win a fucking game, when you need a drive out of Jalen Hurts, he's not going to give it to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to remove all context and say the numbers he's put up are what they are. So they're great numbers, okay? Whatever. It pisses me off when people compare him and Lamar Jackson because they're doing it for one reason and one reason only. They do exactly, yeah. They don't have a similar play style. They just don't. Like, when do you ever see Jalen Hurts make people miss? That doesn't happen. He never ran like that. Right. He's like
like that at any level.
Right. And like when he does run, when he gets yardage, it's because people are giving space to him to throw the ball and he takes advantage of it. But it's not like Lamar Jackson when he runs the ball. Lamar Jackson with the ball in his hands is the most electric, elusive, I think most dominant player in the NFL, period. Because when he throws the ball, right now he has the most passing yards, the most passing touchdowns, the best passer rating. He is right now at this point at week 13, whatever the fuck is week 13 in the NFL in 2024. Currently, he is the best quarterback in the NFL. There's no argument against that.
If you're looking at quarterbacks, so they take a snap and something amazing, a highlight reel worthy might happen after that snap, it's Lamar 1 and it's Patrick Mahomes, and there's nobody else even fucking close to that.
Yeah, right. Like Jalen Hurts, like I said, take all the context out and take his numbers and what he's accomplished and everything else and what he does on a game-to-game basis. And you can argue that there are long stretches where he's not very good, but he still has accomplished some things. But he doesn't really do anything exciting.
He's when
he's playing well.
He's throwing the ball to two elite wide receivers, a very good tight end. He's turning around and handing it off to a top 5 running back.
Jalen Hurts. If you isolate everything, I don't know that if Jalen Hurts beats you, you had a really bad day.
Everything we say about Joe Burrow is the same thing about Jalen Hurts. That he is a system guy. He is fully dependent on his supporting cast to put up his numbers. He doesn't do anything at an elite level. There is nothing that Jalen Hurts does better than anybody.
Right. That's why Jalen Hurts is when you hear Jalen Hurts' name when they talk about MVP. And MVP, I don't give a fuck about it. I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about individual players, it's a relevant conversation. Jalen Hurts gets MVP chatter around this time of year every year, but once you get to December, it disappears.
But he gets MVP chatter because he's got an obscene amount of rushing touchdowns, and people just look at a box score and are like, oh, Jalen Hurts has 30 total touchdowns. Like, that's really fucking good. And then they realize that 18 of those touchdowns are like, again, some guy stuck his finger up his ass and threw him over the line of scrimmage from the half-yard line.
Pause.
But, I mean, again, like, that is the problem with Jalen Hurts. Or it's like last year with Josh Allen where people were like, oh, my God, look at how many total touchdowns. And then you look and, most of his touchdowns are fucking half-yard, and he's pushing his, Josh Allen's built like a fucking fullback. He's leaning into the line of scrimmage, and he's scoring from the half-yard line. Like, great, it's a touchdown, but also that's not MVP caliber.
Well, the reason that Jalen Hurts disappears from MVP talks once December comes around is because that's when they start flexing games. So if the Eagles are in a position where they're playing meaningful games and Jalen Hurts has more eyeballs on him, people start to see this guy doesn't really do anything exceptionally. He just does things well when he needs to do them, or he doesn't. It's like it's one or the other. It's never a Jalen. There's no Jalen Hurts legacy game. Name one play you can ever remember that he ran. Not one. There's no signature play. The signature play is the same play over and over, like you said, where a bunch of guys treat him like a fucking bowling ball, stick their fucking thumb up his ass, and push him over the line.
He's another Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean? And again, everybody talks about like primetime Kirk and playoff Kirk, and they're like, oh, this guy sucks ass. It's the same reason. It's that when the bright lights aren't on Kirk Cousins, he does what he's supposed to do, and he compiles stats. And then when it's a big game, there's a lot of eyeballs on him. People realize this guy's uninspiring and average white guy. And Jalen Hurts is essentially the same thing. He's in a great offense. He just does enough to survive. He's Jared Goff, another guy. That's who I would, if we're looking at like actual NFL comps, he's a little bit more mobile version of Jared Goff. Again, you put Jared Goff on Detroit and got a couple good, really good wide receivers, got a really good run game. He's got a solid young tight end, and he just kind of does enough to survive. And then you look at his numbers and you're like, oh wow, there's some fucking gaudy stats, but then you're like, Jared Goff has never really done anything that made me go, wow, like this guy's really fucking good. It's the same thing with Jalen Hurts. Like, he has some gaudy stats and doesn't do anything that makes you be like, wow, this guy's a fucking MVP. He's really carrying the team right now.
I have a talent comp. I think if you switch these two guys, the numbers would be the same. Like the guy who goes to the other team, they would inherit the other person's numbers. It would have would be identical. Trevor Lawrence and Jalen Hurts are the same NFL player.
So
Trevor Lawrence in Philly.
My argument,
Trevor Lawrence
I might
in Philly
say Hurts is a little better.
My argument.
Trevor Lawrence in Philly, I think would put up the same numbers. He'd be doing the same bullshit.
I can see it.
I think
That's the sad part. I can see it.
I think Trevor Lawrence in Philly would put up much better numbers because Trevor Lawrence is significantly more physical talent than Jalen Hurts. And so if, Trevor Lawrence had a coach that could teach him how to not be a retard and not throw the ball in triple coverage and, could actually like maximize his arm talent, I feel like he'd put up better numbers than Jalen Hurts. In terms of raw stats, they're very similar guys. They are, I think the way that they get to that final number, though, is different. So that's where I would disagree with it.
You know what really bothers me about Jalen Hurts? He does this several times per game, and now that I'm going to describe it to you, you're going to notice it, and it's going to piss you off too. He rolls to his right, but he doesn't roll in he doesn't have like a shape to it. It's almost like he just rolls straight out. So he's running like perpendicular to the field, and he's trying to hit someone down the field. Basically, most of the time he broke the pocket, so it's somebody who's going to break towards the sideline. So he's trying to hit that guy. And when he throws the ball, he has his arm back to throw, and he jumps backwards and throws against his body, jumping back. The weirdest thing.
It's the Jeter jump throw. It's the same thing. It's the most.
It bothers me for the exact same reason.
Yeah. The Jeter jump throw always bothered me because it makes an average play look like it was some fucking web gem caliber thing that Derek Jeter did. The reality is he could have just set his feet and threw the ball and gotten the out and didn't have to Jalen Hurts makes that throw look harder than, I guess is what I'm saying. So I definitely, I know what you're talking. Picture it in my head, Jalen Hurts.
The next time you see it, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm pissed off now because there's no reason to do it that way. None.
Remember
it's
Lamar
just so
had that
fucking
jump
annoying.
throw last year? I forget who he hit for a touchdown, but he jumped and threw the ball for no reason. And I was like, it was like the fucking coolest throw I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm like, there was no point to him jumping. That's every throw from Jalen Hurts.
It was the coolest throw until this year, Lamar's 3-pointer throw to Bateman. That's the one now. Again, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, is that is Jalen Hurts' career to me? Is that he does average things and makes them look tough and people fucking worship him for it. Fuck him. I can't wait for him to get exposed on television. Is it 4:00 start? There's only 2 other 4:00 games, I think.
Yeah,
so
4:25. It is the CBS national broadcast, so I'm pretty sure it's Nansen Romo.
Yep.
Oh fuck! Why? And I gotta hear Tony Romo. Fucking.
I don't know, Jim.
That
shit. Yeah.
He gets fucking progressively higher throughout the game. Fuck Tony. That's another guy again. Actually, Tony Romo and Jim are the same guy too. You put Tony Romo on these fucking great Cowboys teams, and he put up some gaudy numbers, but never really amounted much, never really did much with it. And the reality is on the bright light, you're like, this guy's just kind of making the average throws. It's not anything special. That's my takeaway from the Eagles in general, though, is that they, for the most part, do what you expect them. They don't really perform above what you expect them to do, and they don't really perform below what you do. They just kind of show up in games that they're supposed to for the most part, and they're not supposed to win. They're going to be going against our defense is not near as bad as it was for the first 10 weeks of the year. It looks a lot better now. Some addition by subtraction going on. More snaps for Nate Wiggins. Seems like Brandon Stevens is getting picked on less and less. Our pass rush. Oh, Kyle Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy does this dumb shit one more fucking time where he runs at the quarterback, has a sack, and then stops and flaps his arms around trying to fucking break up the pass. Just tackle the fucking quarterback. Don't fucking do that anymore. If you have Jalen Hurts in your sights, fucking take him out. But again, I feel like we can get some pressure in Hurts' face. I don't think this is going to be a good day for the Eagles, and I cannot wait to watch their scumbag throw snowballs and a fan base cry about it.
There we go. Well, I guess we will see what happens on Sunday. So might as well now get into Jersey picks and score predictions. I'm not sure where to go this week. I know we have 3 remaining home games.
I have a real hot take. I have a real hot jersey. They're going to wear purple tops. They're going to wear purple tops.
Oh, there you go. I'm
going to wait to see. I'm going to wait to hear Jake's. So the last weeks I've been wrong on the jersey combo because I've been swayed by some fact that Jake gives that ends up not mattering. So I'm going to
That's right.
I'm going to let Jake give his jersey
I was right
combo
about
first.
the Steelers combo. I was right about that, and you disagreed with me. So you rode with me last week, and we were wrong. That's all that happened. But
So
I'm
Jake,
probably leaning purple-black.
That's what I was thinking, too. So now I'm not going purple-black.
I think either this week or the week against the Steelers will wear black-purple because 3 home games left. Not going to waste that shit against the Browns, the last game of the year. So I'm thinking it's either this week or it's right before Christmas.
Black-purple Steelers combo.
That's what I think will probably happen that time. But either way, this week, I think purple jerseys, black pants. I'm going to go with a 28-24 Ravens win.
Yuck. PG?
I was going to go purple-white for jersey pants picks. As far as scores go, probably something like 31-21.
I'm going to go purple-white as well. I'm going to go 35.
Okay.
Will?
I'm going to do black-purple.
All right. There you go.
Do you have any particular reason for that?
So black is one of the colors that is prominent in Philly's uniform array if they want it to be. So I think the Ravens are going with black-purple. That means the Eagles got to go white-green.
Yeah, see, so I'm thinking Eagles go white-black and we go purple-white. But
yeah, I think we're eliminating the Eagles' ability to use any color that we have.
Fair.
And then my score, I have 31-27.
So you think it's going to be way closer?
So I think it's going to be like a 27, or excuse me, 20, like a 10-point game. So there is a theme. Ravens this year have come back to win 4 games. They've been down by 10, which was one of those narratives that people come up with about Lamar Jackson. He can't win a game. He's down by 10 points. That's not a thing.
Shout out Colin Cowherd, by the way. Just his vendetta of does Lamar win big games? Basically, every time the Ravens beat somebody good, Colin Cowherd's like, is that a big game? Is that like making fun of people who are like, Lamar doesn't win big games when he does? So
yeah.
I'm a
so I think I think it's going to be a 31, or a 27-17 game going into the fourth quarter, or maybe late in the third quarter, whatever. But I think we come back and put up
for the last 2 tutties,
sizable amount of points. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a game we do well against the run, and I feel like a lot of what this year specifically is built on the Saquon Barkley run game, and I think we can shut them out and kind of fuck with their rhythm.
Hey, I think they're
going to have a tough day.
I think we're at a point right now where we can, on EDC's behalf, say that people owe him. I don't know if it's an apology or just some level of respect that the 2 top targets the Ravens had in free agents this year were Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. It was going to be one or the other.
I think that they chose. I don't think they chose. I think they wanted Barkley, and I think that he got blown out of the water by that Philly offer.
Yeah.
But it worked out for them having him because I think he fits this team better than what Barkley would.
I do too, but we could be saying the exact same thing. We easily could. They're both.
Yeah, we could.
They are the 2 best running backs in the league without any like. There's no argument, and there wasn't really one before. So where we would have been kind of like doing some mental gymnastics is if we got Josh Jacobs, which is somebody that a lot of people said we should have gone after because he was like a tier 2 and he would have cost less. But like Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, that was the mission, and the mission was completed, and I think both teams ended up with the guy that fit them better. I know, like, you go pull our episode. I said, and I don't disagree with what I said then right now, but like Saquon Barkley does more than Derrick Henry in a different way though. But I thought that Saquon just being a guy you could like break out into like a slot receiver, that kind of thing, he would have been like a crazy add to this offense. I think that's still true, but Derrick Henry has proven to be effective in the pass game too. So like I have no complaints, obviously.
This is actually a credit to Justice Hill. I think Saquon Barkley and Justice Hill have redundant skill sets in terms of what they bring to the table. And Derrick Henry is kind of that big bruising running back that I don't think Barkley. So I think it almost fits our offense better to have Derrick Henry and Justice Hill together, and that gives you a better overall output than just Saquon Barkley would give you.
Well, and the other thing is like Saquon Barkley, like he has one of the more iconic now, I think, moments, like jukes of all time with that reverse leapfrog.
That's going to turn into the fucking Odell Beckham one catch. Just
it
the
is.
most meaningless shit that everybody just fucking.
The guy on our offense who would do that, if that were to happen, is Lamar. So like, you want to talk about, we do have like a Saquon Barkley skill set on the field with Derrick Henry. So, I think the Derrick Henry, the size is.
We've got a guy who will
like,
stiff arm 3 people back to back to back.
Exactly. And the fact that people have to deal with Pat Ricard running downhill with Derrick Henry behind him, and sometimes with Charlie Kohler, or with even like Lele pulling, like there's all kinds of fucking wild shit where if you're a guy in the second or third level of a defense, the last thing you ever want to see is any of those guys running directly at you.
So fucking Pat Ricard getting called for that penalty when he didn't touch anybody last night.
That was crazy. Wild. That was one of the most ridiculous fucking, like, I'm glad that it didn't end up contributing to the outcome of the game at all. But like, it's weird. The refs in that game were, they didn't call penalties in situations where it was like, okay, thank God they didn't call a penalty here, because like some crews would, but there is really no penalty. So like they were letting the guys go, but then there were some calls, like those 2 DPIs we talked about were ridiculous, and the fucking leg whip, and then I think like right after that there was another call that went against the Ravens.
It was the block out of bounds.
Yeah.
So Wiggins blocked somebody on a kick return, and like he got penalized because the guy fell out of bounds.
Well, and he kept blocking him through the block out of bounds, but it's not like he went out of bounds and blocked him. He just carried the block through, just finished the play.
Right, like he blocked somebody like he was supposed to, and the guy's fucking weight fell to the sideline. So somehow that's penalty on Nate Wiggins. I was like, there was a couple of head scratching claims where I was like, what are we doing?
Right. So, but like those 2 calls were really early on. I think they were both on the first possession of the game.
Yeah, and then they had. That was really it for bad calls, but still, like that fucking last drive of the game pissed.
Right. So it was like the very beginning of the game and the very end of the game, but in between, I was actually really happy with the. Well, also the ref tried to call Mark Andrews out of bounds on the most.
Oh, that incompletion, that was wild.
Like, did he get like? Not only did both of his feet touch inbounds, but one of his ankles kind of like collapsed and like rolled over on it, and
he was directly in front of the fucking referee.
And he wasn't close to the sideline, really.
No, it was.
Or to the back of the end zone, rather. Yeah.
At any point, and it wasn't just that he signaled no. He like did like a fucking move in Mark Andrews' face, like saying like no, like screaming in his face. And I always love when these fucking assholes make a call, and then all their friends come over and they're like, "Man, that you're wrong.
You're obviously wrong."
So
that was one of those
have a fake
like,
conversation, right? And then we're gonna come out and say, "Oh."
That was one of those plays. I saw it happen. I'm like, "All right, fuck yeah, Mark Andrews touchdown." And then they called no touchdown, and I'm like, "Am I like drunk? Am I missing something here? Like, is there one?" I was like, "Is there something like what the fuck did I miss?" And they showed the replay, and I'm like, "What are you calling here, pal?" And then thankfully they didn't make like Harbaugh throw it. But
so it would have been one of the 3. He actually would have won.
Yeah, that was shocking. And yeah, just another shout out, John Harbaugh, phenomenally coached. Nobody wants to hear that.
That was like, and I saw people trying to fucking question it during the game, but man.
Can we talk about the fucking going for anybody who didn't want the Ravens to go for 2 there doesn't know football, and so
or math.
It's not okay. If you have an opportunity to run some kind of scoring play that takes it from a 1-score game to a 1-score game, or a 1-score game to a 2-score game, you always opt to make it a 2-score game. Okay,
right.
And so anybody,
especially when you're up an amount of points where the other team has to do 2 things to match your number.
Right. And so kicking an extra point there doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
It then makes it an 8-point game, so they score a touchdown and go for 2. Whereas if you make it a 9-point game, they can score a touchdown, go for 2, get it, and you're still winning.
Oh, so, by the way, Drew, if they're competent enough, well, it's not competence, they have to do it. But personally, watching the Ravens defense, now, again, we've just said they've had 2 really good outings, but they do tend to kind of like shit the bed in big situations. But if we kick the extra point, and then the Chargers come down and score and go for 2, which I feel like they would have a high percentage chance of converting, whether they needed to get it to tie or to go ahead. Then people are saying John Harbaugh is an idiot for kicking the extra point.
Right, like that is just analytics, knowing football, whatever fucking metric you want to use to make decisions. The right call there was to go for
100%.
Yeah. But this is why I can't tweet it last time. This is why I can't respect the fire Harbaugh crowd, is that they just, no matter what he does, they're like, nope, it's wrong. And sometimes the guy's fucking right. Was a 2-point call the best play call? No, but whatever. Like, going for 2 is the right call there.
And it was very close to succeeding. And there's multiple I think angles you can take on. It doesn't really matter. It didn't work, but But it was the right football call. You get the Grant tried it of the right move is that it's just not. The right move is to go for 2 there. The right move is to go for 2 there. 10 times out of 10, if he did not go for 2, I would have been pissed. And here's the thing. Here's something that bothers me about the way that people attack Harbaugh. If you want to say that you think like Harbaugh, his time is up, the game's passed him by, we need young blood, whatever. Okay, fine. But number one, don't act like you are know football more than John Harbaugh does. That's fucking stupid. And like
the right move with John Harbaugh, the logical he should have done is that Joe Ortiz left and went to the Chargers. John Harbaugh should have retired from head coach and transitioned in the front office, and Mike McDonald should have taken that head coach. Like, right. That was the perfect opportunity. And so if you want to hate on Harbaugh, because there are a lot of flaws, I totally get it. Like, there are things that, again, we railed on it last week, railed on it in the past. There are things that continue to happen with John Harbaugh as the coach that are really fucking frustrating to watch. If you want to sit there and say that those small handful of times that happens, and they tend to happen on a big stage, annoy you, and you think it happens because the game passed him by, then I'm totally on board with you. Okay, I think that John Harbaugh, a lot of circumstances, has lost his. Okay, but
yeah, exactly.
You can't question him as an overall coach. You can't question the resume. You can't question that every year that he's been a coach, other than 2, where there were historical amount of injuries, that we have been a competitive team, and that he is very good at coaching competitive. Then that's what he does well. Where I think fails is that I don't think he's the right kind of coach for Lamar. I don't think he's creative enough to, deal with an offensive first that is headed by this freak superstar athlete that we've never seen before. I don't think that he does a great job of knowing how to harness that and use that correctly. And I think you could benefit from some kind of youth and some kind of, innovative mind in the head coaching spot. That doesn't mean I don't want John Harbaugh around, though, because he still builds a great culture. He still seems to, have a good grasp on a lot of things. I just think that specific portion of the game has passed John Harbaugh by. And that's why it's time to move on from him.
Yeah.
But
so
that doesn't mean get rid of him, and that doesn't mean, fucking exile him. That means that better utilizes.
Well, but okay. And, a lot of the criticism of him is that he doesn't. He's not good at making decisions in the game. So like when things are when stress is at its highest, he makes bad choices. He throws a bad shot, like whatever. He's making emotional decisions about roster choices, like Ben Cleveland comes to mind. Yeah. But this past week, some of the criticisms we saw were zone was being used too frequently over man. That the secondary rotations were not where they should be based on who was getting better production. We weren't running the ball enough. All those things were the opposite this week. And John Harbaugh was aggressive. He was making choices in game that benefited the team. So, like, we've talked about 2 of them, going forward on 4th down and then the 2-point conversion. So maybe John Harbaugh, he's a stubborn guy. It took him a long time, but maybe he's actually listening and he's evolving with the criticism. Not the worst thing in the world. We're going to be stuck with him. At least he's willing to change.
I think some of it too is that he's, coaching against his brother, and that's a game that he doesn't want to lose. I want him to approach every game with that, aggression and enthusiasm, though.
Yeah, but don't you think that what happened in this game maybe is like a light bulb moment? Like, okay, well, that worked.
Yeah, it definitely could be. I guess I hate the fire Harbaugh crowd because I think that they've taken an idea that rational people have that John Harbaugh has for a long time has been very good, and sometimes good things come to an end. They've taken that very rational point that a lot of people have made, and they've turned it into this polarizing argument where they then want to axe Harbaugh, fucking murder Biscotti out on his yacht. Just
Biscotti.
Biscotti. And
ain't got time for the bit.
But no, like they just take this fucking smart point, turn it retarded. They go way over the top because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And it bothers the shit out of me. We have to deal with people like this on a daily basis.
Yeah, they're bothersome.
Very bothersome.
Some final thoughts before we wrap this up.
Final thoughts are fuck Philly, fuck the Eagles. Yeah, and let's win another fucking football game.
There you go. Biggest thing. The Chargers are soft against the run. They didn't give up many yards total, but their per carry average sucked. The Eagles are better, but they're not stout by any stretch of the imagination. If you're giving up over 4 yards a carry, there's no reason for the other team to not run the ball. So again, give the ball to Derrick Henry, run the damn ball. Let's beat the fucking Eagles because they're fine, but that shouldn't stop you from doing what you do.
And if they're giving up 4 yards per carry or 4+, that's an average. So someone has brought that average up, and they have not faced Derrick Henry. So the only guy they would not want to face as much or more than Derrick Henry is on their team.
Khalil Mack suck a fucking fat cock. Oh, it's not that hard playing Derrick Henry. Ran the ball down your throat the entire game. I forgot Khalil Mack was on the fucking Chargers, and hear his name a single time last night. Wants to fucking talk about, I forgot he was there. Yeah, I forgot you were on the Chargers, dumbass. Shut the fuck up. All right.
There you go. But anyway, that's going to do it for this week's episode. We will be back. What you got, BT?
Doesn't Will have something to go on about?
Oh, fuck yeah, you're right. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not close it down. Thanksgiving is Thursday. And Will, this is your time to lambast those people like my lady who have decided to put up Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving. You have the floor.
So it's Tuesday.
Yep.
Thanksgiving is
Thursday.
It's 24 hours and 21 minutes. About to be 20 minutes away. It's very close to get to Thanksgiving Day. It's not asking a whole lot of people when Halloween ends to not ignore an entire month of the fucking calendar, pretend that November has anything to do with Christmas. Christmas is at the end of December. It's a religious holiday. I would like to remind some people, but it's a religious holiday that is linked to a season called Advent, which is 28 days long. Okay. So if you really want to be adherent to the true Christmas season, you would start on the first day of Advent. That's nowhere close to November 1st. Never will be. This year, the Thanksgiving celebration people like myself, Thanksgiving season celebrators, we get, I believe, the longest possible Thanksgiving season there is. I don't think it can possibly be any later in the month than the 28th.
But if you also
it's impossible.
And also, Will, to add to your point, we can also take it back a little bit farther to the pagan traditions of Yule. So, which is basically just the celebration of the winter solstice.
All right, weirdo. Let's get back to Thanksgiving.
Get that pagan bullshit out of here, BT. That's gonna do it for this week's installment. Mac and cheese is the best side dish.
If you eat ham, what?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a fucking blasphemer.
All right, fuck you, Jake. Hold on. Number one, eat ham on Thanksgiving, you're poor. And
poor.
Number two,
if you eat ham on Thanksgiving, you're probably eating at a homeless shelter.
Yeah, you're fucking poor. Get a job. Stop eating fucking ham on Thanksgiving. Number two, stuffing is superior to mac and cheese on Thanksgiving because it's a Thanksgiving specific side. So if you
fuck that bullshit. That mac and cheese is the top tier side.
Fucking ham on Thanksgiving, Jake.
No,
fuck you.
No, I eat tri-tip on mac and cheese.
The top tier side. You ever heard of fucking mashed potatoes?
Nah, I don't need mashed potatoes. I'm cool off all that shit.
What?
They're cool, but like, I'm cool. So I'm not making a great. I'm not a
green bean casserole and stuffing.
Fuck green bean casserole. That's just whack.
Yeah, green bean casserole can suck my fucking dick.
Goddamn.
What is wrong with you? Eating fucking whack ass sides for your fucking basic bitch shit. Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with it? Fuck off.
Eat cranberry jello and mac and cheese on Thanksgiving with your fucking hand.
What are you, white? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
You probably hate America. Fucking stomping on American flags while you're ham.
Fuck ham.
Gavin Newsom.
Thanksgiving tri-tip.
Peasant follower.
Fuck Gavin Newsom. that guy decides to axe people to death listening to Huey Lewis in the news. Watch American Psycho if you haven't already. Because he looks exactly like fucking Patrick Bateman.
Don't eat turkey on Thursday. You are a fan of Al Qaeda.
That's fine. I'm eating tri-tip.
Yeah, so you're a fan of Al Qaeda.
You won't have any turkey? None?
I won't be making turkey. My uncle, I think he's going to deep fry some turkey. I would fuck with that. Because deep fried or smoked, turkey's cool.
Okay.
If it's baked.
Let's be clear. I'm not saying you have to make the fucking food. I don't make any food.
Yeah.
What are you, crazy?
Yeah,
I eat it.
Food.
Yeah.
I bring beer.
I don't give a fuck who makes it. You can buy it from the store for all I care. But you better eat some fucking turkey on Thanksgiving, motherfucker.
I do care who makes it. Because I'm not trying to eat some dried up balls bullshit of turkey. Because that's just
you've known
terrible and depressing.
You've known your family your entire life. You know who's the one who's capable of making the turkey correctly. So you go to that person's house. And
I have to book a flight to do all that and go into BT's neck of the woods. Because that man knows what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe don't go to Cincinnati. That's fine. I understand that.
He's talking about Indiana.
Indiana. Yeah, my father. That man can cook.
Yeah, fair.
But anyway.
BT's your father?
No, my father lives in Indiana.
BT.
Actually, he lives in Madison. Yeah, whenever
farther south than where I do.
I've never seen
this is doxing his
in the same room. Yeah.
Hey, I didn't give his address.
Yeah.
I didn't give his address.
Yeah, a couple more one-liners and you'll be fucking,
you're like zip code number.
This is the garage door code.
It's
when he's home. This is when he's not home.
It's what 347 Bang Bros Court. There you go. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this week's episode. We will be back to discuss this, that, and the other. Eat fucking tri-tip on Thanksgiving. But meanwhile, it's time for me to die.
Zone 32.